Okay, everyone. I've officially decided I am no longer doing these posts using YouTube's um, video quick capture feature. I'm no longer making these videos. So this is just it pisses me off too much. I love technology. Well, I like some forms of technology. I'm getting kind of tired of being attached to this piece of metal all the time, though. Um, uh, but I'm gonna start doing these posts from here because I can't. My computer is giving me an ass load amount of trouble, and with the internet keeps cutting off and this new Vista thing, I know it's giving me all these problems. And I didn't want Vista in the motherfucking first place, but I had no choice but to take it. And so I don't know. I'm getting kind of peeved right now because the post I wanted to give right now was supposed to be positive. It's supposed to be a positive post. Um. Anyway, I had a conversation just now before I got back in, had all these problems with my neighbor. And my neighbor, we call him Chew. I don't know why. We call him Uncle Chew, even though he's not my uncle, and his name's not Chew either. But he must have been born in the 40s. He owns a small construction company. Um, uh, and he has uh, three boys and two girls for a family. They were our neighbors. Those are our neighbors. So black. They're all black. Should mention that too. Although I'm not sure. Chew's hair is very like I don't know. He must be mixed in some way. He's definitely mixed in some kind of way. But Chew for some reason, Chew is very religious, very religious. Like talks about God a lot. He can't go a few sentences without talking about bringing up God. Didn't know this growing up really. I don't think I had a lot of long conversations with him, and I was a kid in those days, I guess. But as an adult, because he recently we had like a thank you party for him because he did all these a really good neighbor, really nice guy, and so we had a party for him, and he the first thing he said to me when I said hi to him, and I haven't even seen the guy in like I haven't seen him in a while, like a year. And the first thing he said to me was he went into this long conversation about God. Now I need to have Jesus in my life and all this stuff. And I was like, oh my God, where's the beer? And then I was hoping he wouldn't do that today, but I was I was in the backyard, you know, doing that and doing having some fun there. And he went outside to have a cigarette, and so I started talking to him, and he just started talking about God over and over again, like how I need Jesus in my life and how everything relates to God and how we all be in a better place if people believe in God and all this kind of stuff. And then I started asking him a whole bunch of questions, like the guy clearly, I mean he's a nice guy and everything, but I don't think he went to college or anything like that. But I started asking him all these questions about like how do you feel about connecting like racism to like his belief in God and how some people are very racist. So like those people don't believe in God, or those people don't choose to believe in God, or if the world would be a better place if there was God, why don't people believe in? Why don't more people believe in God? Why isn't that working? And all this stuff. And trying to listen to his answers and everything. It was really interesting because what I gathered was he grew up during. He told me there was no segregation. He says segregation happened in the 80s, and I don't really know what that meant exactly. But what I gather is um, he did tell me also he had to walk to school every day, like it was like a mile to walk to school every day, because the school bus would not pick him up because he was black. That must have been how the system worked down here. Is the school bus would not pick him up because he was black. And actually, would they and the school bus also made them get off the side of the road when the school bus went past. So talked about that. Um, I kept trying to think about like what what it would have been like to grow up in the 60s or the 50s in this country. As fucked up as I think this country is now, like to just imagine what it would have been like to be a black person in the 60s or the 50s would just be just I mean like my brain cannot contain it. My sensitive, fragile brain cannot contain it. And things are bad now. Like things are really fucking bad now. But to just imagine what they were like back in the 40s or something like that, just really freaks me out. But anyway, he kept bringing up God the whole time, and at one point he said, one of the problems with the world we live in today is that we care all about technology and everything. And I was thinking about all these problems I have with my computer, and then he said, oh well, and the problem with technology, people are trying to have all this knowledge and everything, and then he said the problem is prayer in school. If we had more prayer in school, when we had prayer in school, we had less problems. And so I was thinking, and this is the whole point of the clip. I'm very sorry I had to give you that very long explanation there, but um, uh, he said we should have prayer in school, and I started thinking, what if we just had like a 5 minute non-denominational, express what you believe moment before school, or before class, or before every class? Why can't we just have 5 minutes where you can choose to pray to God. You can choose to pray to Allah. You can choose to, uh, you know, enjoying your own reading a book is, free time is part of spiritual development. Spiritual development is can be a person's religion. So why can't somebody spend 5 minutes reading a book? Playing some music, bringing a CD and listening to it in your Walkman or something like that, or CD play. Like why can't we anything can be an act of spiritual devotion. We should create spaces for expressing spirituality everywhere in our society. Let me see. Let me make sure I got that right. We should express places for expressing spirituality everywhere in our society. But those spaces should not impede on other people's spaces, I guess. Yeah. So